Hello, team, and welcome to episode 33 of Creative English 2025, Tipping the Scales. Team, I'm sorry. Today was supposed to be the third round of our GringOlympics. I actually started the week with a game, but on Tuesday, I decided to throw in the towel, to call it quits, and we will restart our games next week. The game didn't work, and I'm sorry. You know, I'm the one who has to make all of these classes, and sometimes I get bullseye. Sometimes I miss the target, and I did not think that this was fun as a game. It's still going to be an activity. We will see this soon. But our class today is about scaling. And what I mean by this, think of your room where you're seated right now. What's its volume? What is its cubic? Its cubic area. I'll give you a second. What'd you get? And I think most people's first impression is, I have no idea. But some people, they start looking around. This is about this size, about this size, about this height. All right, so I think it might be around this. And that is scaling, when you can either bring something up or, like, I guess many doctors may be scaling down, or when they're giving somebody a milligram or a centigram of something. It's very different. So we're going to be talking about scaling because I think it's difficult in Portuguese, your first language. Imagine in English, your second language. And you might need to do this. And you don't need exact answers all the time, but sometimes you want to be able to give a ballpark answer. So let's take a look. Team, this is the current, these are the current scores. And we still have well, I'm actually going to let the teams that did not finish to finish theirs this week if they come to class. So maybe the scores will change. Now, I sent you this video. How long did it take these companies to make $1 million? These might surprise you. I know they surprised me. I thought it was impressive. I also sent another link, which brands spend the most on ads. So you can have a little bit of fun with that. Part 2, our skill focus, scaling. And when I thought about this, I thought of 3 things I thought were worth talking about. Number 1, comparatives and superlatives. And in Portuguese, we kind of only have 4 irregulars. We have maior, menor, melhor, e pior. Not only that, we only have 1 word for the superlative, o mais legal, and the comparative, mais legal que. So this mas, you know, it does a lot of work. And sometimes I will see this being a problem in English. Good news. It's a problem for natives too. Why? In English, it's more like 50-50. Actually, I would say it's like 60% towards the more and most, like 40% towards the ER, EST, these suffixes. Now, the question is how to know whether to use ER or more, whether to use EST and most. So first of all, if it uses ER, it uses EST, no exceptions. If it uses more, it uses most, no exceptions. And I guess let's start by separating the comparatives and the superlatives. Comparatives, you're comparing A to at least B. It can be to B, C, and D, but at least to B. So bigger than, funnier than, nicer than, or with more comfortable than, more beautiful than, more intelligent than. You'll notice that than appears a lot. With the superlatives, the most, the biggest, the greatest. We're talking about the number 1 of whatever category that is. So the GOAT, the greatest of all time, best of ever, or best of all the competitors. Now, some quick tips. Number 1, because of this division in English, it's normal to kind of make a mistake with this. The other day, I think it was clear. I wasn't sure if it was clearer or more clear. And the good news, if you make a mistake, nobody really cares. But if you say more clearer, it sounds horrible. It sounds like a 5-year-old mistake. So if you're going to make a mistake, go in one direction. Don't try to get in the middle of both. It will sound horrible. I guess maybe the exception would be like if you're paused when you're thinking. I think this might be more clear. So, you know, I paused because I was making a comparison. I used the more, but then I stopped because I wasn't sure exactly what word to use. I guess that would be acceptable. Now, how will we decide whether it is more or ER? The rule is sides of the word. 2 syllables or less, we will use ER, EST. 3 syllables or more, we will use more and most. There are a few exceptions. Fun, I think, is the most notable exception. It's 3 letters, still it's more and most. I believe it's because it comes from a noun and not originally an adjective. Now, another one. There's a lot of adjectives that end with ed and ing. Bored, boring, interested, interesting, confused, confusing. All of these are more and most, all of them. So if you see an adjective ending with ed and ing, just put more and most. All right. So if you take one thing from this class, remember, no doubling down, no more funnier, more bigger, more nicer, more intelligenter. If you make a mistake in one direction, you'll be forgiven. But if you use both, you will be judged and executed. So, of course, it's best to say it correctly. If you make a mistake, go in one direction. Number 2, as and as. Think of these like quotation marks. You open with one, you close with the other. Are there exceptions? Of course. But I like to go with the 80% rule. And we call these similes when you compare it to something. So these ones are more figurative. As busy as a bee, as cool as a cucumber. I've never understood what as cool as a cucumber. Why? Cucumbers are not cool. But we can compare it to something normal. It's as good as that other movie, as delicious as my grandma's chicken. So you can compare it to normal things as well. All right. Last up, a lot of good vocab words that I think are relevant when we're doing the scaling, and some of them are quantifiers, some of our intensifiers. I put this list. I asked my students to see if they had any doubts. So some of the doubts I saw, some and several. Several is more than some, but some has a secondary, a really important secondary use as an article for uncountable nouns. So some feedback, some information, some traffic. You can say traffic, information, feedback. But if you want to use an article, you need to use some, since you can't use a and you can't turn them into a number. All right. Let me see. Enough. So enough and I guess too much. They're part of a scale. So not enough. I didn't eat enough pizza. I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry. Then I ate enough pizza. Now I'm happy. Now I'm happy. Then I ate too much pizza. Then it's bad. So while I put 2 here as an intensifier, it's an intensifier that always carries a negative connotation. It's past the limit. All right. Let me see if there are any other questions that I got. Quite is like a British really. It was quite funny. I kind of sound like that was a horrible accent, but I do think it's a pretty British word. And how about pretty? If I say something is funny and something is pretty funny, which one's stronger? Well, the truth is pretty should not be used like this, but we do. So it's actually a mannerism, but you cannot intensify really well with pretty. It was pretty funny. Doesn't really work, but it was pretty funny. It was kind of fun. Does work. And I think it's worth mentioning that really can't be used for confirmation like we do in Portuguese. Sounds like you're doubting. Really? Are you serious? No. So if you use really for confirmation, it sounds like you are doubting the person. All right. Some vocab for approximation, some good ones. Slightly, just a little bit. I improve slightly, just a little tiny smidge. Give or take, I think this is a good one. Expression of the week. And, I like that. I might test that out more. Expression of the week, just to vary it, just for some variation. Right? But give or take is when we're going to offer a margin. So maybe I'm going to arrive at 3 p.m., give or take 30 minutes. Maybe it's 2:30 p.m., maybe it's 3:30 p.m. So give or take gives us a margin both ways. Round up, round down. I think it's important. You need to paid $18.75, like I said, so let's round up to 20. You might need to use this at work. I like this meme. So team, could you fight 20 geese successfully? Question of the day. Now our quiz, give or take, this was going to be our game. I was going to do like a Price is Right thing. Didn't really work. So we just turned this into a little quiz. Try to think your answers. What's important here is not your answer. These are all crazy questions. What's important is actually using these different themes that we saw. Try to approximate, try to compare, and see what you get. All right? Lots of good questions. I learned a lot of really random trivia. I think I might be ready for the who wants to be a millionaire after this? But we talked a little bit about scaling. And, you know, in the US, they're very good at using measurements that are obtuse, I guess, because they don't use the metric system like normal humans. But another one about the same thing, asteroid half the size of a giraffe. Which half? Giraffe is like the weirdest animal to do this about. So those are the answers. Don't look at that. But team, that's what I've got for you. Like always, it's a pleasure. Thank you. I hope to see you in class. Have a good one.